go ahead and reconvene the meeting at this time. We've got a couple of items we need to do real quick before we move on. And we'll start off with H1. This is part of our regular agenda. We'll start with that, so I'll pass the microphone back to Richard and give us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item H1 is an item dealing with a proposed reduction in force in two of the departments, Public Works and Probation. And I'd like to recognize both those department heads, Larry Millar and Chief Branning, for taking the county budget big picture and recognizing that we've got some very limited resources and coming up with a way to reduce our force. It's not something we look forward to, but I appreciate their efforts in being creative and finding ways to conserve the county resources. The two positions are outlined in the board packet. I'll go into whatever level of detail you would like. What we're asking is three different action items. One, to approve the reduction in force. Two, to unfund the assistant engineer position, position number 9263 in the road fund, and the juvenile hall superintendent position 9220 in the probation fund. And as a related action, to fund the juvenile hall counselor position in the probation fund. We have met with the affected bargaining units, and they acknowledge that we've met our obligation in terms of that meeting. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to respond.
Any questions?
Yeah. Oh, Richard, with the recent storms that we've had, the incoming FEMA money possible and from the state, and we're cutting a road department position. Is that going to affect the process of rebuilding our infrastructure?
I'm not sure if Larry's still here to comment on that, but in essence, no, this position wouldn't be directly working on those projects. And if you would like more further detail, Larry would be happy to respond.
Is that a grant position, a grant writing position that's being funded?
No, it's not. It's a assistant engineering position.
Any other questions, staff? So I guess we'll come back up here for action.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation.
Okay. So I have a motion by Peter, a second by Gallagher. Any other discussion? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. With that, we'll move on to item H2.
Mr. Chairman, this is a routine item of a purchase of a vehicle for the Ag Commissioner Department. The proposed purchase is through our mass purchasing program delivered through Downtown Ford. The quotation is attached. Total price being $33,850, and Mr. Hemphill is here to provide any detail regarding the department's request.
Anything to add, Craig? Any questions from staff? Seeing none, we're looking for some action then.
I'll make a motion we approve the purchase of the vehicle for the agricultural commission.
Okay, we have a motion by Gallagher. Do you have a second? Second. Second by Hammond. Any other discussion? Anybody from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Very good. Thank you. With that, we'll go back to our 1045 item now. And we have a presentation from a request by Mr. Hammond for a presentation of commercial cannabis. I don't know if you want to say anything, Tom, but
Yeah.
before we get started here, obviously we're going to have a presentation, and there'll probably be some questions for the public and maybe some comments. We're going to ask that we keep those comments to be very limited and not be redundant. We've been listening to this topic for 3 years, and I can almost tell you when you get up here, just from looking at your face, if you're for it or against it, and the reasons why. Because we've heard from many of you many times, which is fine and which is good, but this is also a public process, and we want to give everybody a chance. So we're going to ask to keep our comments concise and to the point, and shorten it as much as we can. So with that, Tom, I'll turn this over to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you guys for showing. I'm going to read a quick statement. With the recent elections, we have seen the additional states legalize marijuana. A new state-regulated industry has emerged. Kind, who is currently licensed to commercially grow and harvest marijuana, has developed their Colorado operation into an enterprise that has provided substantial employment and revenue for their local economy. Kind, some weeks ago, had made contact with me as the company was researching various areas within California to set up a commercial growing facility in accordance with new California state laws. Whether or not Lassen County wishes to entertain state-regulated commercial harvesting within our county remains to be seen. However, in order to better understand the commercialized industry, including the pros and cons, I felt it was in the best interest of the county that we take this opportunity to agendize this item for discussion. The presentation will touch on various details, after which time the board would appreciate any and all comments and questions.
Thank you, Tom. So I guess we'll be, I don't know who these people are, so I guess we'll just turn it over to them and let them make their own introductions of who they are, and we'll just go from there for your presentation. We're here to listen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go through all that stuff. Are we going to need the microphone if I talk like this? Is this going to work?
No, use the microphone.
Use the microphone? Okay. We have a yeah. Screen turned on. Testing.
All right, how are we all doing? My name's Nick Tex, California born and raised. I've been in the marijuana industry for about 10 years now. Went to college in Montana for a business degree. I just did a 24,000 square foot facility in Denver for an investment firm out of LA. In doing so, I met these guys who are Kind Company. I've done a lot of fly fishing and waterfowl hunting in the area growing up, and I thought our next project might be a feasible area, so I started reaching out. And I tried to put together the most compliant and viable team to this project. And I'll let Kyle take it from here.
So I'm Kyle Bishop. Our team is myself. We've got Zach Cooper. Zach, with your hand. He's the COO. We got Will right next to him, who's a grower, big support. We've got Peter Hermes, and he's the distributor. And then we've got Jennifer Granger over there, and she's our legal counsel. So anyway, I'll talk more about who we are and all that kind of stuff, but first thing I want to introduce is Kind Co. Kind Co. Lassen is the name of this project. We've identified Lassen as a great place to come for multiple reasons. The main reason being that it's a place that we think that we can really benefit mutually with Lassen County. Essentially, looking at the different counties, talking to different places, we think that we'll be able to really bring a lot to this county that will be mutually beneficial. I'll get into that more. Ultimately, by creating cannabis cultivation permits, we're hoping that the county will be promoting sustainable, county-produced medical cannabis for patients that is safe and should be able to secure an economic future for the county. The goal is to establish a comprehensive set of regulations applicable to the operation of medical cannabis cultivation sites within Lassen County to ensure such operation is in a manner consistent with the overall health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of Lassen County and in compliance with the State of California Compassionate Use Act and Medical Marijuana Protection Act. So moving forward, there's a bunch of different licenses that are legal that are coming online. Okay, we're not in any way proponents of being the only grower here. Okay, we're not trying to be exclusive in any way, shape, or form. We've suffered through a long 7 years of regulation. Zach and I started in with our first major warehouse of 140,000 square feet, which is actually where we met Mr. Hermes back in 2010. At that time, we were basically in a position which is very similar to what's happening here in California. We were forced to go from the caregiver model, which is very close, is a very close model, to the model that you guys are using now, which is the collective model. Okay, so we were able to grow for our patients. We had individuals that we knew very well and that we cared for, and that was changed, similar to what's happening in 18. And so this transition is very uncomfortable. Okay, we know what a pain this is, and it's been 7 years of nothing short of suffering through the transitions of legality to get to the point where we're now comfortable and able to operate with 350 employees, over 200,000 square feet in one of our facilities of 4. And so essentially, there's going to be a bunch of different licenses. We want to make it very clear that we're not here to push out the little guys. In fact, California is much different than Colorado. They're way more supportive, probably because there's such a strong culture of small-scale and medium-scale cannabis growers in California, especially in Northern California. And so essentially what California did right, in big part to the legislation being aware of their culture and working with our governor, Hickenlooper, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But essentially they came up with a type 1 cultivation, which is going to be the cultivation for smaller growers. Okay? The type 2 cultivation is going to be for medium growers. And then what we're talking about today exclusively is type 3s. Okay? We're appealing to large-scale cannabis production, which in Colorado is much larger than what the licenses issued here are. But we're coming on, we're going to be doing a pilot. We're not going massive right off the bat. We're going to come in with a few licenses for greenhouses, and we're going to come in 3 licenses with greenhouses, and then 4 licenses for outdoors. And so essentially, today we're going to be talking about type 3 cultivation outdoor, type 3A, type 3B, type 4, which is a nursery, which basically is where you take your mom plants, you take cuttings, and you do clones, so that you can provide plants in the upcoming season for your outdoor grows. And then we're going to have our type 7 and type 6, which are different types of manufacturing for different products. We are very into products such as saps. We develop different strains as breeders so that we can make different medicines. As I'm sure many of you are aware, cannabis is not what it used to be. Through the use of gas chromatography, high-pressure liquid chromatography, we're able to essentially make it so that plants have different ratios of cannabinoids. And by doing that, we're able to make plants that don't get you high. We're able to make plants that have different ratios for different patients. Okay, so for instance, we have a strain named Sour Tsunami that's a 1-to-1, half CBD, half THC. That's extremely beneficial for people with MS. We've got different types of strains that don't get you high at all. One of them is called E-Wife, and it's a 26% CBD strain. And when smoked, ingested, or otherwise topically introduced to your body, it will not get you high, but it will reduce and all sorts of different symptoms, including nausea and all sorts of different things. So with the medical patients, there's a lot of people in California We have no intention to sell. I'm sure you noticed on this that we are not applying for a dispensary license in Lassen. We are solely trying to produce in a facility that is out of sight, out of mind, and is really focused on just producing quality products. So one of the things that we're most proud of as we introduce ourselves is that in the process of the last 2 years of running operations in Colorado, we've been able to avoid any compliance issues. The hardest thing about this transition is learning how to be compliant. Now, the good thing is the beginning of these processes is really interesting because the state is learning with us, okay? And so we work with the state to help learn together how to regulate these things. It's been a heck of a time with these guys. We work with the Colorado Department of Revenue, which is the MED as well, the Marijuana Enforcement Division. We work with the Department of Public Health and Environment. We work with the Department of Agriculture closely. We work with the WPS, which is the Worker Protection Standard. We work with the Fire Department. We work with the United States Environmental Protection Agency. We are regulated by the MED through a program called Metric, which is a point-of-sale system and a seed-to-sale tracking system that allows the government to see from the beginning to the end where every single plant, every single quarter of a gram, every single detail is at all times with complete transparency. As far as awards go, and as far as things that we're proud of, our very first year of operation in our largest facility, I was flattered to be awarded, to my surprise, as one of the 140 top employers in Colorado. And so I think that's probably my greatest accomplishment up to date. Other accomplishments, again, well, before we go into awards and stuff, let's just talk about what the compliance is going to be here in California. Okay, so California is going to be dealing with all these regulatory bodies, which are extremely similar to the ones that we're dealing with in Colorado. So we have, again, OSHA, that monitors all businesses. We have the California Department of Public Health, the California Department of Consumer Affairs, the California Cannabis Cultivation, which is going to be similar to the MED, and the California Department of Food and Ag, okay? You may notice that it's very similar. And then we have another cannabis medical regulator. But it's very similar, and there's a lot of parallels to what we dealt with in Colorado. And so a big part of what we want to do, and why we think that we can work with Lassen so well, is that we can help and help this transition and really help the county understand how these systems work. And we do believe, sincerely, that will be a big asset to this transition in Lassen County. We have very strong relationships with our regulators. I was fortunate enough to have a large investor in order to do our project. So we borrowed from aseptic technique. We basically made an indoor grow that was like a spaceship of cannabis growing. You walk into an air shower, it's completely aseptic, positive UV matrix, double air pressure, all kinds of good stuff. So the regulators started coming to us when it was time to introduce senators or congressmen or different people that were going to be working to show them that it's not a shady industry and that this is medicine and that we're taking this seriously and we're able to produce consistently the same product without fungicides, without any pests or anything outside of an organic model of preventative maintenance. So compliance is number one. Okay, we've never had a compliance issue. I'm going to keep saying that because we are very proud of it and it's very important. We're going into a whole new world where we have to make sure that no pesticides are being dumped on the land and that we're compliant. Everything is on camera. So if you do something that's uncompliant, the state has like 150 days to bust you on camera doing it. So transparency is everything. We make sure that all of our pesticides are stored in a locked cabinet that is properly labeled. We make sure that all pesticide waste, so if they don't get sprayed out onto the plants, and again, pesticide, I'm using the term loosely, we only use azithromycin. Okay, which is a sliver of the neem molecule from the neem tree, which is really just, you can brush your teeth with this stuff. So you send out any extra slurry from the cleaning or anything else, and it gets properly dealt with. This is Esteban. He's head of our compliance team. He's showing you, we do different training exercises with our staff so that everybody knows and learns at the same time how to be compliant. So this is him being incorrect. He's not wearing his hood, he doesn't have his mask on, he's doing things wrong, and this is him being compliant. And that's how you spray. And again, that's above and beyond the PPE or the personal protective equipment that is being used there is not actually legally mandated. He doesn't have to do that, but we go above and beyond in order to make sure that we're protecting our employees. It's not all bad. Once you go compliant, there's a lot of wonderful things. We were able to work with a lot of great artists. These guys are all big musicians that we were able to actually develop strains for and to work with, which was a lot of fun. Again, we've won 15 awards, going from cannabis awards, cannabis cup awards, dispensary awards, product awards, all kinds of different things. So we do have some experience in this industry. The award that we are most proud of, besides, like I said, the employment award, is that we've never had a bad relationship with an employer, a client, or with any government industry. We're very transparent. We know what we know. We know what we don't know. We know that coming to California and working outdoors, it's going to be a collaboration with the growers here. Their traditional ecological knowledge is valuable because we've never done it. And the type of staff that we're going to need to do this is pretty incredible. So we're going to be reaching out to you guys to really help guide us through this process as far as the actual cultivation outdoors goes. Again, we have tons of experience, but it's different here. And there's no doubt that California cultivators do a very good job outdoors. This is the staff that we left in Colorado. And these guys, some of them had some experience, but 2 of them had never grown before. And we're extremely proud of that because if you start at $13 an hour, and you're able to run that facility within a year and a half, that's a pretty good accomplishment. This is what done looks like, okay? Once the facility is fully operational, we leave it perfectly clean every day. As you can see, there's a waste bucket right there. It's green. We color code everything. We make it very simple. Safety, 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 safety. Again, this is what done looks like. So moving forward, I just wanted to bring up something here to everybody. Hickenlooper is the governor in Colorado. He is not a fan of cannabis and never has been. He's actually he's been against it from the beginning. He was tasked as the governor because the people voted it in to figure out a way to deal with regulation and come up with a regulatory model. It's interesting though, over the course of the last, 7 years, he's been in charge. He's a very popular governor, and he's made the statement of, it's one of the hardest things we've ever done. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in public life. But also, it's one of the things that I'm most proud of. At the end of the day, Hickenlooper would tell you he's still not pro-cannabis, but he will tell you directly he is very close and that he's working out the final kinks and that he's helping California avoid the mistakes that we made. It's a grueling transition from the caregiver model or the current California model into the regulatory model. The tagging alone, every single plant after it's over 8 inches needs to be tagged. That goes with the facility license, the facility name, the application identifier, the tag order date, all these things follow the plant with an RFID chip from the beginning of the plant's life to the point that it's sold at the dispensary. Now, this alone took us months to figure out, okay? And so as we transition and as these things come online, which Hickenlooper working with the state of California and with MRSA and the AUMA, we already have somewhat of an outline of what the cannabis regulations are going to look like come 2018. So we know how difficult this is going to be, and we hope that we can help people with this transition. We also do independent monitoring of all of our stuff outside of the metric. The metric is a state-mandated tracking system. So we do redundancy in almost everything we do, to make sure that we have accurate data, okay? Basically, we're able to self-audit by using other companies. We do not suggest MJ Freeway. They just got hacked and their thing crashed, and we actually had to switch. But the good thing is that we just worked with a company called FlowHub, and we helped collaborate with them to make an incredible system that's from seed to sale tracking, and will actually be the first system that will be capable of replacing metric with an open source. Not only do we do all that tracking, but with professionalized grows, with investment, and with all this scalability, essentially, we're able to do things that we've never been able to do before in cannabis. This is a picture of our BMS system. The BMS system stands for Building Management System. And so essentially, I'm able to control a 200,000 square foot grow off my phone. And I'm able to see every square inch of that grow off the phone. We're able to, and not only are we able to do all that stuff, well, the MED can't change my irrigation cycles, but they can see, and there's transparency to all of it. Again, which is absolutely limiting the criminal activity. This is the BMS monitoring our return air temperatures and our scent air temperatures. This is some nutrient stuff. This is the tracking of the nutrients being used by the plant. And another really cool thing about going legal is that essentially the plant is you're able to understand the plant better by being able to use resources that were never open to you before. In agriculture, as a cannabis grower, we've never been able to send tissue samples or leaf samples or soil samples to figure out what's really going on. We go online or we get a book and we try to figure out what's going on. But there's all sorts of things that can bring down a project, and there's all sorts of things that can be damaging or hurtful to patients. And now, once you're completely legal, you're actually able to send those things in and determine exactly what it is so that you can make responsible decisions for the safety of your patients and the safety of your company. So there's our big one. That's the 200,000 square foot grow. We're very proud to say that we started from the beginning of the project. We designed it. We added another level to the project. So that was about 80,000 square feet with one level. We added a second story to it, putting it to 180 or 160,000 square feet, and then we added bump outs to it as well, which puts us just shy of 200,000 square feet. And to put that in perspective, that's about 4.6 acres. Also, I'll point out the fence. The entire building doesn't have a single window. Security is always number one, right behind compliance, or let's just say it's tied to compliance. And so the facility is on lockdown. There's cameras all over the perimeter. And again, it's completely fenced off. And you have to use, we'll talk about security in a minute. There she is being built. There she is finished. So, about security, and this is kind of a tangent, but you see that we have all the employees here. This is about half the staff in the grow section alone. We break that down into two different pieces. Part of our integrated pest management program is to make sure that we're not bringing people into clean areas. So all these employees, you can see, the colors are a little weird, but there's red shirts, black shirts, and green shirts, okay? And then on the other side of the facility, closed off from a different area, are the purple shirts, and they're the trimmers. So a green shirt's a grower, a black shirt's a manager, and a red shirt is a transition team member. Now, if you're the security guy watching the cameras, making sure that things are flowing and that nobody's stealing and that there's nothing weird going on, you're able to identify a red shirt should be in the hallways, it should be in transition areas, and the green shirts should be in the grow, and the black shirts can be roaming around and doing whatever they need to do. As an employee, it's beneficial because you're able to ask a black shirt if you don't know what you're doing. And you can avoid asking other red shirts, and you're able to facilitate better levels of communication. Again, they're wearing hospital scrubs. When you walk into our facility, you walk through an air shower. Okay, that's going to blow off any Candida, hyphae, or other types of fungal infections or spores. And then also the biggest threat, as I'm sure a lot of the growers in here are aware of, and what we're really concerned about is russet mites, which are little tiny bugs that you can't see, but can absolutely ruin your life, especially when you're running a facility with the most minimum and basic of pesticide management programs. We do everything off standard operating procedures. We do intensive training, and I'll tell you that a lot of people come onto the staff literally just to be a part of the training. It's like cannabis college. We've gone through the ringer. We've got, amongst our staff, we've got maybe 30, 40 years worth of grow experience, and it really is. It's a pretty cool thing to work in a team like this. We're very proud that we actually, when you go into scalability, when you're able to scale up, you're able to make all of your own plastics. So we made all of our own plastics. We molded them, designed them, AutoCAD'd them. We made all of our own wraps. We made all of our own trays. Everything was proprietarily ours. And it's just a cool thing that's afforded to us because we're real companies now. And we're able to take real loans and do really cool things. This is what done looks like again. The top picture is a bedroom. And the bottom picture is a flowering room.